Renault was first brand in Europe in 2019 in electric vehicles, and even Zoe, which was making the run out, was the most sold car if we take aside the Model 3. How do you manage that?
It's very simple. First, the market is growing. Yeah? So the EV market, BEV, 100% electric vehicles market in Europe is growing about 80%. And why? Because we have the capability to be closer and closer in terms of TCO, total cost of ownership, with IC car, of equivalent of B segment car. And people now understand, especially because residual value of electric vehicles is growing. So the part left to finance is not so much. And in terms of cost of utilization is much less. So we are now gaining more and more traction from rational buyer. The early adopters were people which were looking for the technology, tech-savvy about electric vehicles, or they had, let's say, a special sensibility for ecology. But now we go for rational buyer. We have significantly improved the chemistry of the batteries by improving the density. And if you look at the progress which have been done in a little bit more now than 6 years and a half, we moved from 22 kilowatt-hour batteries to now a little bit more than 50 kilowatt-hour batteries. We have been able to have more or less the same cost of the battery as an object because the cost per kilowatt-hour went down. So at the end of the day, for the customer, he can get much more driving range, much more value for the same price. And this happened only in 7 years. So less than a decade in an industry which is more than 100 centuries old. So you can guess that in the coming years, future improvement will happen very soon.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell me about the customer for this kind of car? So who is buying the Zoe?
So we have in Europe basically 50% of the buyer, a little bit more than 50% are companies. Are companies because they need to have some car which is fitting for commutings from different locations in the same place. It can be from large fleet and so on. So there are 50% of those companies who have discovered that finally the cost of utilization of EVs is very interesting, is very economical. For instance, if you drive 100 kilometers with an IC car, it will cost you 8 to 9 euro in terms of petrol. For an EV, it will be about 3 euro for 100 kilometers of current. So it's much cheaper for companies. And then another part of it is just private customer. On private customer, big part of them are not in cities. They are in rural areas. Why? Because finally, it's very easy for them, especially if you are in rural areas, not to go to a petrol station, but to charge at home. So it's very convenient.
There are 7-8 years without a new model.
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking at offering a range of electric vehicles? Or keep
yes, you're right.
Only in this one?
What we said is, we announced it in 2017, we wanted to double our electric vehicle offer, moving from 4 to 8 models before 2022. And in 2017, basically we were covering around 30% of customer usage in Europe. By 2022, we are going to cover more than 80% of customer usage. And to do so, we are going to introduce more cars, and we are investing in a full new platform together with Nissan in order to have a common new generation of powertrain, electric motor, a common generation of new batteries, and a completely dedicated platform to electric vehicles. And this is some vehicles that we are going to introduce before 2022, so more news to come.